morning, everyone. So just a couple of things before we get into this. Happy Easter, by the way. Day late, but not a dollar short. I cooked and made a wonderful video yesterday and some wonderful dishes yesterday, but I decided to get all dressed up and actually make the intro this morning because I was so exhausted yesterday. First, the trip to Baltimore that was supposed to happen in April will not happen now until May. I will announce the dates shortly. I know them. I just haven't announced them yet. But it will be mid-May, pretty much the same. It was going to be mid-April. So keep checking my site, on my social media, and my blog for info on that. Then I again want to just show you this wonderful device. I have not used it yet. Similar to a few devices I have here. This is an Anova, A-N-O-V-A precision cook oven. So eventually I'm going to be using it and you guys are going to be with me when I do in video anyway. Aren't these pretty? I got these for Easter for making video, and then I didn't actually shoot the video yesterday on Easter, but I'm going to end up giving them to my daughter today. But I hope that you enjoy the video. Thanks so much for your continued support. Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube, but I need more of you to actually subscribe to my YouTube. So this is it. It's spring 2021. One more very important thing. I had my partner make this beautiful crystal energy bracelet, and you can see the colors match my dress perfectly. You can get yours today. Get on his website. It's reverbcrystals.com. That is REVERB as in boy, crystals.com. And he has several masculine pieces, different colors of all kinds of stones. So just be sure. Let me show it to you. And we do ship. We just shipped someone one, but they didn't get it because, and none of the mail I mailed out from that particular UPS store made it to see the light of day either. So I need to call and see what happened with that. So from now on, we'll be shipping with FedEx or some different carrier. But yes, bracelet by reverbcrystals.com. Get ready. I hope you enjoy the video. Again, Baltimore trip, May 2021. And Miami, even though I'm going to Miami for vacation, but Miami as far as cooking, Miami late summer or early fall after my daughter's 16th birthday. Haven't figured out yet how I want to budget things. So, enjoy this video. Enough babbling from me. Get into it. And I hope it inspires you to get in your kitchen and make some really good meals. Bye now. Hey everyone. So we're about to get started on this weekend's Easter holiday cooking. Good Friday, if you're not Christian, you may not be familiar, Last Supper. So on Good Friday, growing up, my family always did fish. So, I'm going to also do a very, very pretty salmon braid. We're going to do it twice to make sure there's enough salmon for everyone. And then along with that, we're going to have some corn on the cob. We're going to have some steamed shrimp, and some rice, and some mushroom. And we're going to cook the salmon with some lemongrass and some rosemary, amongst other seasonings. So I'm going to get into that. So I'll be back in a bit. Oh, and on Easter Sunday, I look a lot cuter with makeup and stuff. But today, I had to do laundry, lots of it. Grocery store, lots of it. So I'm exhausted. Cooking on fumes right now, but we're going to get through this. All right? Be back in a bit. Okay, so I got the salmon on the cutting board. And I'm going to grab just a couple of things we're going to need. Just want to make sure I have them close by. Everybody does things different. There's no real wrong way as long as what you do tastes good. Just grabbing my supplies. Things I like to use for things such as this. I'm going to get my smoked paprika instead of the regular paprika. The store today did not have smoked paprika. That was kind of disappointing, but we're gonna make it work anyway. And then I'm gonna show you just a couple of the other things that are gonna be on here, even though you might not see me put them on here, just so you know what's going on. Okay. So again, Good Friday, you eat fish. And here's how to make a beautifully braided fish. You want to kind of leave, oop, and I'm just slinging salmon everywhere. My cat will love it. Hold on 1 second. Actually, gonna put these in the trash. I'm not worried about saving this for this cat. All right. So get your trash bag going. You know, I preach that every time. Just get it hung up in a secure location close by. All right. So, delicately, I had to defrost these. So, when you're defrosting, you want to make sure that you're not accidentally cooking it while you're defrosting it. Let me move this up higher so you can see more of what I'm doing as I go. All right. All right, about here should be good. Notice we got some springtime flowers. Can't really see the tops of them. They're like blue and a pretty pink. Walmart had them. Good deal. All right, so you want to cut into 3 sections. If you got a daughter and you know how to braid her hair, then you know how to do this. And I'm going to grab my scissors also. My butcher scissors. Just to make sure that we really get through the skin too. Some people take the skin off the braid. I want to leave my skin on. Everybody's different. Do it your way. Alright, there's one. You want to do 2 now. Go through like this. Oh, we lost a piece of meat. Let's set it off to the side. Just kind of gently pull like this. All right, so you see 3 sections there. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. This one's smaller, so you definitely need to cut these sections skinnier. All right. And because you're dealing with fish, you definitely want to remember, as you should, to always wash your scissors and your chef knife off immediately after you're done using them, so that you don't cross-contaminate other things you're going to probably be using your scissors and your knife on. All right. So we got these sections. I'm going to use my twine to hold them together at the end, just like I would if I were braiding my daughter's hair. Everybody's process is different, you know. So we've got that now. Move the knife and the scissors down to the toe to make sure they don't touch anything else. All right. So now we're just going to begin to braid. Braid it as best you can. It may not be perfect. But braid it until you can't braid it anymore. Like I said, this is a smaller piece, so it's going to look a little different. Just try to do the best you can with what you got here. I'm going to tie it off. Gently tie it though, because you don't want to rip through the meat. This is a delicate meat. This is not like tying some beef. Lift up gently from the bottom. If you lose any bits, put them in the pan. They'll just cook in the pan. It's fine. All right. A gentle, gentle, gentle tie. All right. Very gentle. Just like that. Leave the loops so it's easy to cut off when you're done cooking it. Move that so you can see it. Pretty, right? That's what you need to do. Now we're going to do the one that you should be able to see right from here because it's on the opposite side, so you should be able to see what I'm doing here easier. Gently pick it up again. Just like braiding your daughter's hair. Over we go. And under we go. Alright. Some of it may fall apart. This is much easier with like a full size piece of salmon. I tied my hair back in the front, but it's still getting out. Have to do some better rubber banding after here I get this situated. But you kind of just want to like fix it so it doesn't come any more undone than it's trying to. Like so. Tie as tight as you can, but without ripping your meat. And again, these little pieces that came off, you can throw them right in the pan. They haven't been on the floor. They're on your cutting board, so they're still fine to use. So don't waste them. All right. Now, we've got that done, right? So, it's time to get one of our pans that it's going to go in. My hands are slippery, so this is not going as easy over here, even though y'all can't see it as I would like it to, but we're getting it done over here. Alright, so at this point, what I like to do is run it out of space. It's always great. Slide this gently. Don't let your meat go to the floor though. Just slide things out the way, make space as best you can. Alright. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil on the bottom because we want that skin that's going to be skin side down to get nice and crisp. So I do some olive oil. And then I also do some Crisco butter spray on the pan, like this. Everybody does things different. The important thing is that it works. I even season this bottom where the oil is, because you want to make sure that your skin has some season. I don't know if you've ever oven fried pork chops, but it's kind of like that. Right? 1 second. Now this is something I used to love to use on my fish. It's Island Spice Fish Spice. All right. So I also like to get some of that into the bottom of the pan, just like that. All right. Now what we're going to do, the fun part, carefully and gently transfer your salmon, babies as I call them, over to their pan, like so. Get all those extra pieces. You had this piece of hair just keeps coming forward. There we go. Put that in there like so. You're going to wash off your cutting board, of course. Next thing we're going to do, lemon pepper. Because you want your salmon to be tasty. Line your braid up so it's pretty. You know, get that lemon pepper on there generously. The next thing is going to be your, let me bring this over so you can see. Still not quite high enough, is it? Let me see if I can bring you up more. Probably just a little. All right. And I'm going to tilt you down a little more so you can really see in the pan. All right, there, perfect. The next thing you're going to do is just some black truffle salt. Nice big granules of salt. Look at how beautiful that is. And of course my chives don't want to open up. Need to open that first. Alright. So just get that open. You want to sprinkle some chives on. Try to get it in those crevices too, like where the braids are. Let's go ahead and put that on there like so. Yum, chives. Chives are so good. All right. The next thing we're going to do, same. Is some freeze-dried garlic. Now, once wet, which the moisture of the meat should cause, it'll get wet. Ooh, too much. But we just pour it into the pan. Just like so. It's a very, very strong, pungent smell when it's freeze-dried like that. A little basil. I know y'all like basil on fish. Yes, basil on fish. It's good. Don't doubt me. Trust me, it's going to be good. And then your smoked paprika. Now, I've done all this just to show you how the salmon's going to go into the oven, but the salmon is going to be the last thing to go in, other than the shrimp. Because as we all know, it doesn't take long to cook. But there you have your braided pieces of salmon. And I've also got to make the glaze. Haven't made that yet. But I just want to show you the salmon itself. Be back in a bit. Right back. You know what I forgot? Crazy as I am. I forgot to put the lemongrass and the rosemary. Duh. So, I just like to break them off and just stick them right in the folds. Like this. The rosemary also kind of reminds me of the Psalms and just the total scene of Jesus on the way to the crucifixion. So I like how it looks for an Easter dish. It's nice. Alright, you just want to stick your sprigs in there. Alright, like so. And then just a little bit of lemongrass. And I'm going to get another knife. A tinier one, and we're going to cut that and get it into this dish. Oop, don't want to lose any. It is kind of tough, so you have to kind of power through it up and down with your knife and make it easy to do, especially with something like this. Just like carrots, it's a little tough. It's got a little bit of fight to it. So you just want to put this in here. It's a lovely kind of aromatic. So now you see it. And that's how it's going to go in the oven. It's also going to go in with a glaze on it, which I haven't made yet, which is going to consist of some butter, some Karo syrup, some smoked paprika, and I will probably mix just a little of a hot old beige type sauce into it also and glaze it on. The reason why we use the Karo syrup because we want it to be sticky sweet, and also it's going to have just a little mixture, just a little bit of barbecue sauce in it. So I'll show you the finished product when it's all done, when I'm ready to cook it. Right now it's going to get covered and put in the fridge. Be back in a bit. So I just want to show you real quick the glaze we made for our salmon. In this, we have some lemon pepper seasoning. We have lime juice, minced garlic, 1 cap only of apple cider vinegar, about 5 tablespoons of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, about 6 tablespoons full of Capital City Mambo sauce, and clear Karo syrup. And then we're just going to mix that up like that. Then we're going to sprinkle a little bit of this Biscayne Bay seafood seasoning in it, only because I could not find Old Bay, which sucks. Alright. And then you are just going to whisk it all together, and this is what we're going to glaze the salmon with. I've also got the bacon baking in the oven, getting it nice and crisp so I can crumble it up, and it also is going to be on those salmon. You'll also see here that I have got some chives, some mushrooms, and some onion. This is going to be just a sauteed up side. The chives are really more of a garnish, but these are going to be a sauteed up side to go on top of the rice, which I'm going to get to shortly. And then I'm going to toast some vanilla brioche bread for the bread for today. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And look at how pretty that is. Let me bring it over so you can see how beautiful the glaze is. Very, very nice. All right, so be back in a bit. All right, so just want to show you this. We've got some garlic, some chives, some basil, mushrooms, and some white onion and olive oil. And we're just sauteing this because this is going to be served with our rice along with our salmon. The shrimp and corn is finished steaming and is in that larger pot sitting back there. I have the rice going now also. So what we're going to do right at this particular moment is we're going to go ahead and glaze the salmon. The oven's preheated to 350, and we're going to get that going because dinner should not be too much longer now. I cannot wait for y'all to see it all together. Be back in a bit. Alright, so now we're putting our bacon on the salmon because the salmon is getting ready to go in the oven. And everything else is done. Try to always leave your seafood for last because it takes a very short amount of time to cook. Alright. So you want to sprinkle this bacon on your salmon. Really good and pretty. Like so. Get all that. Now I cooked this bacon until it was nice and crispy, which is what you want. You saw me do this same method when I made my Alfredo bacon mac and cheese a few weeks back with my Italian meatloaf. Same process. Bake the bacon so it stays nice and flat. It doesn't shrivel up as much when you bake it, and it gets this beautiful crisp, and the color is gorgeous like this. And just get all of it in there. And I'm going to take a pic of this real quick because I like to document my steps. And then I'll come back and we'll do the next step, which is the sauce. Alright, so here we are. Re-whisk it because it's been sitting a few. Make sure you got everything good mixed up here. Take my whisker away because it is sticky and don't want to run on everything. So I sweated down the onions and the mushrooms and the garlic and other seasonings. Remember, this is salmon. It's grated. It's got rosemary, lemongrass, and now you just want to pour this beautiful sauce that you made on each piece. Like so. Use it all. Just keep dipping. I like to do it this way so I make sure both of them get a good amount of it. Hit every crevice that you can with this good stuff. Get it all in there. I mean, every last bit of it because this is good stuff. All right? And then we're just going to put it in the oven, just like this. I'm going to go ahead and get a pic real quick. Be back. And here we have it. Well, not all of it. The rice and the vegetables that go over the rice, the sauteed onions and mushrooms are on the stove. And I have the vanilla brioche bread, store-bought, heating up in the oven. But I just want to show you this. Here's a close-up of the braided salmon topped with chopped finely bacon and a special sauce that I made. Then we have the shrimp and some corn, all dusted in dried parsley, fresh small chopped up pieces of green onion, and dusted with smoked paprika. You also see some corn. Just look at it. Isn't that beautiful? It's gorgeous, right? Enjoy. Hey everyone, so first thing we gotta do is get y'all set up because you can't even see what I'm doing yet. Hold on. Alright, so full disclosure and honesty here. I'm going to use some box cake mix, but I'm going to tweak it so that this generally, truly tastes like a from scratch cake. So these are a couple of things we'll be using. We're going to use rum extract, and we're also going to use vanilla flavor. And a trick I saw on a cooking show for making your cakes more moist, like 1 teaspoonful of plain yogurt makes them moister. Didn't know that, but yay. So we're making a carrot cake. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop the hell out of some carrots in my food processor. Don't really care about y'all seeing that. But I did want y'all to see what I was doing because I don't want to fake the funk. Like if I'm using something from the store, we're going to let you know I'm using it. So I decided to go with super moist French vanilla. And because it's easier to incorporate other flavors into, didn't want to go with lemon or any of that other stuff. And for this, basically per box, you would need 1 cup of water, ½ cup vegetable oil, 3 eggs. I'm going to substitute out that vegetable oil for butter because butter tastes better. So we're going to use, if it was ½ a cup for both, ½ a cup for one, then it's a full cup for both. If it was 1 cup of water, then it's 2 cups for both. And if it was 3 eggs, it's going to be 6 eggs for both boxes. So I'm going to get ready to mix that up and add the other ingredients that I told you I was going to add, and then I'll be back. But because it is Easter, we are also going to add a drop of dye to color the inside of this cake. And I think I have decided upon blue to make it a really pretty light blue because it's going to look real festive and real pastel-like when it's done tomorrow. I'm not decorating it till tomorrow, but I needed to get the cook of it out the way tonight so it can sit overnight, be nice and sturdy. And this is my pan, so we can make one of those beautiful swirled shapes. And there's what it'll look like once it's flipped over. So I will be back in a bit. All right, so I have my dry mixture in my bowl here. And now we're about to get to the good stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm sorry, scatterbrain today. The first thing I want to do is get the grated up carrots in here. That's the first thing we're going to do. Because it's kind of a dry. It's not quite a dry, but it's kind of a dry. You want to put things in, you want to get your dry mixture all figured out first, and then you start adding your wet stuff. So we've done this first. All right. Now what I'm going to do, the only thing I'm going to add in at this moment, other than what we've already got here, I'm going to add in, I always read these. This is 1/4 of a cup. So we're going to now add in 1/4 of a cup, but it's a 2 cup of the plain yogurt, just to make sure we get that moistness that we want. And then we're going to get out our spoons, our measuring spoons here. And we're going to use the 1 tablespoon mixture here. And I actually like to put 2 tablespoons in of the rum extract, if I can get it open. Everything likes to be difficult. It wouldn't be my life if it weren't. Alright, we're going to peel that. And I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of rum extract, just like so. You can smell it. It smells so good. Yum. Alright. The next part that we're going to put in is the vanilla extract. We're going to put in the same amount, 2 tablespoons. Alright. Sometimes I buy like the pure vanilla extract, but I didn't feel that was necessary today. But just 2 tablespoons of it, and it goes. Okay? Now, I am very quickly going to look and see if I have a little nutmeg, because I also like to put nutmeg in. And what do you know? I do from when I made rice pudding. So, and it wants to be all stuck together. All right. So roughly 1 tablespoon of that, no more of that than that. So now what we're going to do is it is time to lock our mixture into its base. Move this out of my way so I can bring you guys closer. Now we're on the wet mixture part, and I'm going to start adding things slowly. All right. Slowly is the key here. First, we're going to put the top down. Make sure it's in there. Make sure it's locked. This thing won't even work if it's not. Then I'm going to take this. And I'm also going to grab my eggs. And I'm realizing you really can't see me. So hold on one second. All right, there you go. Mixer in view. Remember, it called for 3 eggs per box, so we got even 6 because we have 2 of these. And I need to clean off my table real quick. Last time I made a cake at Christmas time, I bought this really, I had this really horrible, poor quality hand mixer. And I ended up just having to whisk it by hand. And actually, the cake turned out quite well. But, like, if you don't have to do that, don't do that. If you can get a mixer that does it smoother, do it that way. All right. So, I am going to break in the 6 eggs first. All right? Before I turn this mixer on. Because I don't want it to all be, like, dry. Matter of fact, let's tilt the mixer head back up. It's easier just to put in the eggs. But for everything else, we're just going to just leave it down as we pour it in. Alright? Careful. Make sure you're not getting any egg shells in your mixture. 3. We're on 3 eggs so far. We got 3 more to go. 1. Ooh, I wish you could smell the nutmeg and the rum extract and the vanilla. It smells so good. It's going to be so good. Now, near the end of this, I'll put in that 1 or 2 small drops of blue food coloring because I don't want a dark blue cake. I want a light blue cake. All right. So, now we're going to put this down. Make sure it's locked. You know it's locked if your light comes on. Okay. We're going to mix it in. Low it first. And with a slow trickle of your water. This is the first cup of water. And goes our second cup. And first, what I'm going to do is stop it, raise it up. I'm trying to do this with something in my hands, folks. Bear with me. I'm going to raise it up. Oh, yeah, because I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to pour this over this mixer because hopefully to get the rest of that to kind of mix better. That was our 2 sticks of butter. And let me make sure that was actually enough. Yeah, that's full. That's right. Making sure I did the math right in my head. All right, in we go. Up higher now. Let's get it together. You want to just whip all this together. Hold it so y'all can sort of see what's going on in there. And it's looking marvelous. We're ready to stop it. I'm going to give it 1 more minute. And then we're going to stop it because it's smooth. It's the consistency I want. I just want to make sure there's not any hard, powdery flour anywhere. The only complaint complaint I would have about this mixer and looking at it now, and we're going to stop it real quick because we got to get the food coloring in. The only complaint I'm going to have is that I realize the bowl does not have a pour spout to make it easier not to make a mess. Some of them do. This one does not. And now I'm like, what did I do with the food coloring? One moment. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I got it. Good to go. I was about to say this cannot be happening. Alright. So, and my daughter is also watching, which is also why we're doing it this way. I kind of had learned the recipe to making cake though, but like this is so she can make cakes too. She wants to start making cakes, so much easier for the beginner, because I'm still a beginner too with the good old box cake method. Alright. 1, 2. We're going to see what color we get with just 2 drops. Way too high. There we go. We are not blue enough. So, a couple more drops. Now we're getting there. It's still too light. Still too light, folks. I'm gonna lift this up too real quick because I need some blue to get in this middle dot, this middle area that is still staying just the color of the carrot and the cake. Might be bluer than we intended, but you know what? It's gonna be really, really pretty though when it's all done. So that's what matters. Now we got blue. But I think it'll be fine. Crank this sucker up a little bit. And I am going to have to do a little hand mixing with a spoon. Can you get me a wooden spoon in the middle where the blue dye is just sitting here and not wanting to do its thing? Does not want to come off of here and do what it's supposed to. So I'm going to tap that off with a spoon. Or not. This is not what I want to do because this is so messy. But there we go. I guess some things, no matter how modern, are still the same. Alright, so we're going to mix the last bit in. Make sure we got some bluish tone here. Still kind of light. But I don't want to keep making it dark because it's supposed to be a pastel. And I don't know exactly what color it's going to turn as it cooks. It's probably going to get darker than that. So, alright. Let me rinse off my blade here real quick, folks. And I'm going to turn my oven on and let it preheat. Something I should have done a few minutes ago, long minutes ago and didn't do. So that's got to preheat anyway. Just going to show you the batter here. It's a very, very, very light blue. And I'm just going to mix with the spoon a little more to make sure we got it all. And then all you got to do, what I do is I use Crisco butter nonstick spray. You want to coat your pan. It is a nonstick pan, but just to be sure my cake doesn't stick to this thing and comes out in a perfect shape, I'm still doing that. I don't care what it says about being nonstick. That's hogwash. And then you just want to start to fill in the cake. My daughter wants to know what hogwash means. It means a lie, an untruth, somebody who's full of it. We might have too much batter. That did not happen last time.
You want to make cupcakes? Oh.
I don't think there's enough to make cupcakes, but I'm not sure. It might be enough there to do something. I guess we'll figure that out in a few. I do have to bang the pan down though, and I haven't done that yet, and then we'll really see what level it is. You want to kind of bang it down and make sure it's flat and even all the way around. And there we have our cake mixture. And we're just gonna wait now for the oven to preheat, and we're gonna get it in the oven. Happy Easter. This is gonna be decorated so pretty tomorrow. Can't wait to show it to you guys. All right. Happy Easter, everyone. You guys don't see me yet because I am not hair ready, makeup ready, and or outfit ready. But I did want to come by and let you know that I'm actually going to film the intro where I'm all cute and everything later on in the day because I had too much fun last night, drinking, partying a little bit and such, and I'm slightly hungover, but we're still going to get this cooking going. Let us take a moment this morning. It is Easter, and a lot of times we get caught up in the fun of it and we forget the real reason for it. Let's take the time to remember that Jesus died upon that cross for our sins, and on this day he is risen so that you, I, and everyone else may live. If you're not religious, that's not my business, but it's important to me. I am a Christian. That is my faith. I don't want to hear from the woke committee. Look, and when I say that, I'm not making fun because I'm black. I believe there are plenty of things we need to be woke about. I absolutely agree. But Christianity, faith, and believing in our healer and our Savior and the one who has kept my life together in times just through prayer and faith. Now, we're not going to get rid of him just because we're woke. While our ancestors practiced hoodoo and other faiths of their own, some of which I've dabbled in myself, and I have no issue with those things. A lot of our Negro spirituals were written by very strong black people in history to give us hope. So let's stop thinking that, and not only that, don't worry about that white painting of Jesus that you see. Everybody paints Jesus to look like them. The book writers of those books were European men. But we know that the Bible says that he had olive skin and hair of wool. And that's us, folks. So there's no reason to exclude him. Thank him today for dying and then getting out of that grave on your behalf. Happy Easter 2021. Now let's get to the food part. So I'm going to make crostini for breakfast for everyone this morning. Using French baguette bread is great because it's already got some crispiness to it. I'm just going to cut it up. And we're making a mess as we cut it too. It's really hard where it is. Yeah, it makes quite a mess. I'm going to try to be more gentle so more of it flies to the floor. Yeah, I don't like it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to mix this idea, and we're going to use a different type of bread. Generally, I use these. I don't know. This brand was just really too tough, too coarse to begin with. But I was hoping I could use it for that. But not to worry. I'm a girl who always keeps bread on deck. And this is Italian loaf. And so we're going to go with this. Much softer. Much softer. Let's go with this one. Don't worry about those crumbs on there. They're not going to hurt anything. I am going to need to sweep my floor as soon as I'm done here. I know y'all probably saw my hair and it looks bad. Let me see. Can you see it? I love it. Yeah, my hair looks crazy. Like I said, had no intent of being on camera quite this early. I did, actually, until I had too much fun last night. So now we're not on the, oh yeah, this is much better. So we're just cutting these into even pieces. I'll show you them all when we're done. I come from an art background and I'm an Aries, so I'm really good at symmetry. But if you're not, just please try to get it as even as possible. They don't have to be perfect if you're at home, but since I also cook professionally, things like that do matter for me. We do have this one last piece. Let's see if we can get it into two pieces. That one might be tough. Nope, we got it. One of those is going to be thinner than the others. So just so you can see how symmetrical I cut those. And then you're just going to lay those out like so on your baking sheet. like that. And then we're going to get a little salt. When I want to get something flavor, I use the black truffle salt because it does definitely give it more flavor. Now, normally I would use my olive oil, right? Because, well, it's prettier. It tastes better. But because I want to save most of that for my other cooking, you can use just your regular vegetable oil. Seriously, it won't mess nothing up. It's just not as flavorful, but I'm gonna end up putting flavor on this anyway. You're gonna see what other ingredients these end up with on them. So, not to worry about that. You just wanna drizzle on each piece because you want them to toast nicely. Put salt on first. If you want, you can put another layer of seasoning on top of this, which is what I'm getting ready to do. I'm gonna put some garlic powder on top. And it was just a drizzle. See, barely used anything. Just a drizzle. Because I had used some of that oil from last night too. Alright. Now we're just going to put a drizzle of this. And I have my ribs that I marinated yesterday. And we're getting ready to put those into the roaster while these go to the oven so they can slow cook for most of the day. But this is just going to give us a really nice breakfast dish. So, we've had this preheating on 360. I'm going to put this in now. Alright, so we got that in. I've had my roaster going for just a little bit to make sure it was good hot before I even put anything in it. And you guys are going to come with me. Alright. The petroleum jelly is actually for my puppy. Alright. And if you're concerned, yes, I am going to wash off my chopping board. It's clean, but because someone sat that on there, not sure who. I don't know, maybe, I don't know who would have touched that. It just appeared there yesterday suddenly for no reason. My water in here is just a light coating of the bottom, just kind of like to build like a smokiness. Look at the marinade. I marinated them all last night. Look how beautiful they are. I'll put them meat side down because that's the part that needs to cook the longest. Alright. Gonna get the other one out. First, let me close that bag up, because we are making quite a mess here. It's the only thing about marinades. Oh my God, it's so messy. So messy. I gotta wash my hands. I can't even do it. Hold on a minute. It's just too gooky for me. Now let's see if I can close this properly. We got one in. Something you don't see yet, you'll see it later. It's on a different table in my other cooking area. Are these Lysol wipes that I use while I'm cooking, especially when I'm cooking chicken or pork. So I can keep my hands sanitized in my area really, really, really sanitized. Another beautifully piece of marinated piece of meat. And in it goes down. Alright, wash my hands again because they're messy and also because it's pork. People don't want to give people food poisoning when you hear touch other stuff. Alright, this one's situated here. Close that up. And we're just going to cover it now. There are going to be other steps to it, like the barbecue sauce, but we want to let it slow cook for a little while. All right? I'll be back in a bit. I want to clean up my floor. All right, so here we are. Remember, I said Lysol. Couldn't find Lysol ones, but these are Total Home. It's a CVS brand. Keeps your area sanitized. Okay, again, pardon my hair stuff. I haven't gotten to that yet because I wanted to get breakfast a little figured out first. And I wanted to give my headache some time to go away first. So pardon what I'm looking like right now, folks. It's gonna be better later, I promise. Alright. Because I don't want to use up too much of my tomato because I'm also making a ceviche later. And I'm going to need to dice a lot of tomatoes for that. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna slice these up into fine little slivers. You can't see. Hold on. Alright, so we're gonna just dice these up into fine. Try again to get things close to size and uniform when you cut them as possible. You might get some a little thinner, some a little thicker. But I want them really, really pretty to go on top of those pieces of crostini, which should not take too long to cook. So you got that. You're also going to use just a little chive. See, the secret to cooking a big family meal is you feed your family first. They won't bother you so much when everything else is taking a while to cook. Or you can elect to just cook most of it the day before. But I wanted everything to really, really, really taste fresh out of the oven today. So I did not do that. Except for the cake. Cake I did, absolutely did. Chives. And then I'm gonna go the long way on the shape of these. These are Roma tomatoes, in case you don't know what I mean by that. And so, because I want to use more of them in the ceviche, I'm gonna cut them this way so it looks like I have more than I have on each piece of toast. Yeah, well, you know about that. All right, so we're just gonna cut these. I have eggplant to cut up also, so I'm gonna cut them since I already have cutting board out, but then I'm gonna cover them and let them sit with salt on them because they're going to get fried later. All right, one of them split apart, but you get the gist of it. So there's your vegetables that are going on your toast, and we're also going to use some store-bought, but a really good store-bought, not the kind that tastes terrible, version of guac on each piece of toast. So this is going to be really good. I like to salt my tomatoes while things are cooking. Get the flavors in, and it also draws some of that water out. All right, so the next thing up, like I said, since I've already got this cutting board out, we're going to deal with our eggplant. I've got squash and all kinds of things to cut up, but we're definitely going to deal with the eggplant now. Again, try to get it uniform, but also try to get them pretty thick so that they're nice and hold their shape good when you cook them. That one might be a little too thick, but we're gonna keep it moving. You notice how I use different types of knives for different things. It just makes certain kind of work easier. But just about all of my cooking blades are Japanese steel because they are always gonna be the sharpest and easiest to sharpen. They're just good quality. We better check on those crostinis because they should be done. And once I take them out, then we'll move on to cooking the egg that's going to go on each one of those. Remember, you want to put your eggplant in a pan. When I say pan, I mean like a tin or something, anything flat. And you want to put salt on top of and on bottom of the slices to draw that water out so that when you fry them, you get a nice crisp eggplant. Nobody likes soggy, nasty eggplant. All right. Throw that tip away. All right. So I'll be back in a bit. I forgot. There's one more thing. Our tomatillos are also going on this breakfast item. I'm going to check those crostinis really quickly. Because that did not go according to plan. Okay, so I took them out of the oven. I'll be right back. What I need to do now, I want to cover up my crostini with some foil so they don't get too hard. And let me show you what they look like real quick. Beautiful, right? Very, very nice. Showing those to you. All right. This on here that keeps them warm and from not being too much harder than they already are. Alright. So now what we're going to do, peel the rest of your tomatillos. This is a Latin vegetable for those of you who don't know. It is what salsa de verde is made out of. A green salsa. For those who are still lost, that's what it's made out of. I'm going to add slices of it this morning to the crostinis along with the tomato. Because it's going to be really, really good on that. I like to taste things first and see if I like them this way or if I feel like they should be cooked. It can be either. It almost tastes like if a tomato and an apple had a baby. Like I said, I've eaten these in salsa, but never quite the way I'm serving them today. But it tastes good. It's refreshing. So why not? It's going to be good. They just need a little salt. So a little salt, and we got ourselves a nice dish with some crunch other than an onion. My daughter is not crazy about onion, so this works perfectly. No onion. Cut that little stem part off. Alright, so you get the gist. I'll be back once these are constructed. Alright, so we're back real quick here. Got the last two of my eggs finishing up. You're just going to take this guacamole and put it on there ever so beautifully, like so. Try to get it to the corner if you can. I'm just going to show you how I do the first one, then I'm going to move on and do the rest. because, you know, I have stuff to do. So, I'm going to start with your slices of tomatillo. It's a little sour, but I like that. So, it's pretty. And then we're going to put, actually we're going to wait for the egg. Should be done in a second. They're done now, so I'm going to take those off. Really? Alright, I almost thought I lost egg, folks. I was about to cry. Okay, so we have our layer of tomatillo. We have our guac. Now we need one of the eggs. We'll go with the first one that almost lost its life, and that just made a really bad mess down the side of my counter here. Messiness, gross, don't like it. I'm literally one of those people that you can make a mess anywhere but in my cooking area, and I'm cool. Don't like mess in my cooking area though. So that one got a little runny, but let me bring it in so you can see it. It's still pretty, right? So we got the egg. We're just gonna push the tomato on top of it. And it should already have enough seasoning, but if you just want to be careful, just a slight shake of black truffle. Then on go your chives and just a little green onion. And then to make it have some color, to make it pretty, even though it already has color, we're just going to take a little bit of paprika, just like that. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna do is try to figure out where to put the paprika. Let's see if I can get it back in there. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead now and make the other plates, but I just wanted you to see one part of it, one of them, and there you go. You got your crostini, your guacamole, your tomatillo salted, your egg runny, a tomato salted, chives, and green onion. And lastly, just decorate it for a little bit of color with some paprika. Be back in a bit. Okay, so here we have our runny egg crostini. Again, just going to show it to you close up. We have guac, salted tomatillo, runny egg, tomato, chives, and green onion, and garnished with some paprika. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is ignore my dog, who is outside because I'm cooking. But he is not crated. We have a nice little back enclosure. He's just acting crazy. He can move around, walk around, do whatever he wants, and he's just not. Every time I come out here to cook, I've said this before, he thinks I should be cooking for him. So on to what we're doing. We're cutting up all our oranges because we are about to make our glaze for our ham. I am about to get my ham going. About to get my ham going, folks. So we're going to get this glaze made. Some of the other things you're going to be making today, deviled eggs, but with a twist. We are going to dye the outside white part after it boils. Like, we're going to take the shell off first, and then we're going to food color those. Food coloring is safe to eat, guys. That's why it's called food coloring. Don't panic and be like, oh my God, is that, can you eat that? Yes, you can eat it. That's why it's called food coloring. All right? So, the way I'm going to make my glaze For my ham, we're going to be using some brown sugar, 1 stick of butter, clear Karo syrup, some Modelo beer. You can use whatever beer you have. And that's how we're gonna make it. Oh, and the oranges that you see me cutting up now. And we're gonna cook these down in a very, very large 2-handled skillet. Some of the other things we're having today: cheesy potatoes au gratin. My take on shrimp and pineapple ceviche. Ham, of course, which is why I'm making this glaze. And lamb rack, which I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it in its rack form or cut them into little tiny pretty lamb lollipops. And also our ribs, fried eggplant, asparagus, and squash for our sides. So I have a lot to do today, and the cake I decorated, the cake I cooked last night still needs to get decorated today. So I'm gonna get these in the pan and then I'm gonna come right back for you. All right, so you may notice I did fix my hair, but still no makeup. I might film that part of this video tomorrow. Funny, right? I might actually put on my Easter clothes and shoes tomorrow with my makeup and shoot the beginning of this video. I also have a piece of jewelry to model for you guys from my partner's company called Reverb Crystals, and that website is Reverb, R-E-V-E-R, B as in boy, crystals.com. He sells energy spiritual bracelets and necklaces, and also just crystals themselves, and that's done right here from our home. I get to watch him be creative and make those things all the time, so that's always fun. All right, I'm gonna add just a little water to this, just 1 cup of water. So we have a little oil, a little water. They do not mix, as you know, if you paid attention in school, but you can put them together. I also want to put in, and we're gonna have a biscuit loaf with a cross shape down the middle instead of hot cross buns. I don't know how to make hot cross buns, and I'm not gonna pretend like I do. But what I am good at is biscuit loaves. I also mixed in just a little bit of garlic powder. Mix that up even better. The next thing I'm gonna put in is the stick of butter so it can melt down before we get everything else in here. Get your stick of butter in there. And while you guys are staring at that, I'm going to get the components for my food processor so that I will be ready to go as far as making my dough for my biscuit loaf. Just want to make the dough. You don't cook it this early, of course. Biscuits are one of those breads that you kind of really have to eat right when you cook them, or else they're hard. And I don't like hard bread, so I try to avoid that scenario. You can see that bubbling? Alright. Go grab the cutting board with the oranges. We're going to help this butter melt a little faster here if we can. I have mine turned on heat to 5. Just important that you want it to really get going there. Get all your orange slices in. And you're just going to let this cook down. We're going to put the cover on it. We're going to let this cook down for a bit before we add any of the other ingredients. We want to get all that really good orange flavor in there. Now you can choose to, after you've done all this with the food processor, put this into your food processor and chop all these oranges up smaller. I'm probably kind of just going to leave mine whole. They're not going to look as pretty because they're going to be cooked to hell, but for the taste and just because it's easier, I might just leave them as they are. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We're going to add a little bit of this beer in. Just like so. Drink the rest. Get that in there good. Alright. And we're going to put the top on. And we're just going to let that do its thing. We're literally just going to let it do what it does for a while. And while that's happening, I'm going to go start my biscuits. I believe I showed you how I made those in my last video, so I don't think I need to do that again, but I did just want to show you how we're starting the glaze. And actually, you know something else you can add to the glaze if you want. If you want, just to give it a really rich taste, you can add some rum extract. Not much. And now it's party. Mix that up in there. Put your top back on. We're going to let these cook down for a while before we add our syrup making components. Alright? So I'll be back in a bit. Okay guys, so we are back. There's how the oranges are coming along. So at this point, we are about to add our other components. First thing we're about to do is get on in here with that K-roll. We're going to move this out the way. It's so sticky. Ugh. You want enough for a whole ham. This is a big ham I have. And I only had about half a bottle left. So we're going to say I used half a bottle. And hopefully that's enough. It should be. It should be. Because the sugar is also going to make glaze too. Wash the sticky stuff off my hands real quick. For those of you who can see my feet in these shots from time to time, I suffer from psoriasis. That is why you see scarring on the tops of my feet. I'm lucky in that my psoriasis only affects my feet. I could be in the condition of others where it affects everything. Thank goodness I'm not. Just a little salt. Because it's sugar, right? So you won't have sweet and savory. We're not making a dessert. But you don't want to go overboard with the salt because you definitely do want it to be sweet. Alright? I'm using light brown sugar, but you can use the full dark too. Use whichever one you like. And I use about half of the bag when I do this. Especially with the light brown because it's not as sweet as the dark brown. Kind of stop. Look at what you poured. Is it about half? Yep, we're right at about half. Seal that up good. I seal it and I fold it. And then I have like a little bowl over here that I sit things in. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Alright. Now I'm going to turn this heat up a little bit. It was kind of on a low cook originally. We're going to turn it up now. And we're going to start mixing all this together, hopefully without making a mess. And I need to know where my whisk is too for other parts of today's cook. So I'm going to go ahead and take my whisk out now. I set everything on my deep fryer that I need in quick reach. I think I've explained that to y'all before too, but if I haven't, now you know. Try to mix it. As it comes to a boil, it'll thicken. Take a little taste. Very citrusy, very good. Yum, yum. Make sure you got it all mixed in there. Alright, just like that. You're going to put the cover back on for a while. And then you'll take it off a little bit just to reduce it a little bit to thicken it more. Alright, and I will be back in a bit. Okay guys, so I'm back. Now these are wild red Argentinian shrimp. They were bought frozen, already peeled. However, they are raw. Some of us see red and we think, oh, that means I'm done. Please read the label of what you're buying. So while you're away, I already chopped up, well, diced into lovely cubes the pineapple part for the ceviche. Now we're doing the same thing to the shrimp because it's easier to do it before you steam them than after you steam them. You cannot eat raw shrimp. That's why that's the one sushi item, that and eel, that they've always cooked before they served it to you. I marinated these in a nice citrus marinade overnight. Not like 24 hours, but just overnight because I was up late. So they got marinated probably about 5 hours or so. I used some Mojo seasoning, some lemon juice, not much lemon though because the acid now to cook it, but mainly Mojo, some lemon pepper, and some salt for my marinade last night. You just want to dice these up so that they kind of match the shape of your pineapples. And so I just wanted to show you that. I'm going to get back to it now. Pardon, the sun is terrible in the house this time of day, so it's hard for me to get as clear of a video shot, but you can see what I'm doing. All right, be back in a bit. All right, so here we have our ham. I'm just scoring it before I pour the glaze on it. When we say to score something, we just mean cutting slits in it. And you're going to do them in a cross pattern if you choose to score it. Some people don't score their meat. I think on a meat that's got like a fattiness to it, it's best. So I like to score mine. How you do it's how you do it though. Turn it around, do the same on this side. It almost looks like a cube pattern. Score, score, score. This is really fat back here. Try to puncture it as good as you can. I want to get all those flavors of my glaze in here. Just like so. Alright. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to pour this on here, right? But then you will keep basting this as it cooks. You just come back ever so often, check on it. pick pieces up and pour them back on. The ones that came off, all right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a toothpick. Some toothpicks, rather. Remember, we're going to keep basting this. I know you're like, it looks so runny right now, and it is. But don't worry. It's cool. Everything's fine. I want to make sure some of this seasoning stays on here, the citrus. So I'm just stabbing the heck out of this thing. It's so sweet and so good. It is going to thicken up, folks. Believe you me, it is going to thicken up. I know it doesn't look like it right now, but it is. These toothpicks can stick far enough out that you can see them to get them out. They're literally just holding these oranges in place. All right, folks, that's all they're doing. So it don't have to be particularly pretty. We're just building flavor here, folks. Turn it around, because you don't want to neglect the other side of this lovely piece of ham. And like I said, you're going to continuously come back to your oven and baste and baste and baste. That's how my grandma did it with her pineapples, and that's how we're doing it today with these oranges. And the most important thing about the glaze is you're going to pour it on the slices of ham. If you want to know the honest thing about it. So you want to cook it and get all that ham juice running into it so that it's flavored and tasting like your ham. But when you're putting this on, you got to figure out where that bone is too, because you can't get a toothpick through bone. Alright. Try to use as many of these as you can. You may not be able to use them all. Remember that your shrimp is also steaming during this time, because you definitely don't want to make a mess. Alright. Now we're going to get a wipe and wipe our hands, because I had to lick that glaze off my hands. So now we're going to clean my hands. Again, these are antibacterial wipes. These are not your standard ordinary wipe. These kill serious shit. Alright. So there you have it, and it's about to go into the oven. I'm going to put some foil over it first, and then we're going to finish it without the foil. Now I'm about to get back to chopping up the rest of the vegetables for the ceviche. All right, good people. Here we are with my take on ceviche. Now let me tell you what's in here. We've got the chopped Argentinian red shrimp. We've got diced tomato, diced pineapple, chopped green onion, chopped fresh dill, chopped white sweet onion, and of course tomato. And then lemon juice is going to be added to this, as are a few slices of avocado on top for decor. Normally the avocado would be throughout, but because avocados here lately, the ones I've been trying to get, just have not been ripe enough or nearly in the condition I like my avocados in, we're not going to do that. But we still have some of that store-bought guac. So when serving this today, I can offer people a couple of options. If you absolutely must have that avocado taste, I'll decorate your dish with a piece of avocado, and you are more than welcome to, and I'll put a dollop of the guac on the side, and you can mix it in if you like. Sometimes you got to improvise. Now this is sweet raspberry vinaigrette. All right, so we're just gonna pour that throughout. All of it, literally the whole bottle. All right, and then we need some tomato. So we're gonna use a little canned tomato sauce. And this actually works out for me because I need to make a sauce for the fried eggplant and for the squash as well. So we'll just use what's left of this for that. Easy peasy, no waste. All right. Make a little pour spout here. You have to create air on the other side. My grandmother taught me that when I was little. Okay, not nearly deep enough. Un momento. And I still don't like it, so maybe we're gonna have to open this some more. I bought a new can opener. Did y'all notice that? Y'all been watching me fight with that other can opener for a while, haven't y'all? Well, now I have one. All right. Not a lot, just a little. Okay. And now I gotta wash this off. It's gonna drip everywhere. And we're just gonna sit that in the fridge. You cannot store stuff in the fridge in a can. I know. Botulism and all. But that's only going to be in there for an hour tops. Because I'm going to use it today. Just don't want it out in the space where annoying fruit flies that just love the state of Georgia can get into my stuff. Let me grab something to share with here. Alright, got the handy dandy wooden spoon, and you just want to begin to mix all this up together. I'm just going to store this so all these seasonings and flavors and vegetables can marinate together until I'm ready to serve it. Then when I'm ready to serve it, we're going to slice up some avocado, and we're also going to put in the lemon juice, which is the final touch. So right now, we just want to get everything coated beautifully and mixed around. So you just have all those colors and all those flavors. Gotta have a good ceviche, you know? So let's see what we got. You're gonna taste a little. Nice, fresh. There's one more thing missing though. The most important thing. That is my parsley. That is not my cilantro. 1 minute. They're so hard to figure out sometimes in the fridge, aren't they? Maybe my nose is deceiving me. Maybe that it actually is my cilantro. It wouldn't be the first time. Or Walmart was putting it in the wrong place. Let's see. Yep, cilantro. Alright. So, just want to get some of that in here too. Gotta have that cilantro taste, or else just throw the whole thing away. Don't feed it to nobody, y'all. Seriously. Gotta have that in there. Got to. It's like, it's the taste of heaven. Now, some people don't like it. I love it though. I can't see me making something like this without it. Now let's see what we got. A little taste of that. A little taste of that. And yes, my hands are clean. Better. This cilantro definitely brings it together. So now I'm just gonna let it sit in the fridge. Do what it do. So I just want to show you this. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there, folks. Just gonna grab a ladle. It's time to do some basting. My ladle's a little big. So we're gonna get in here the best we can. Let me pull it out a little more so you can really see. Get my oven mitt on. Alright. And you just wanna, I'm gonna slide it back a little. Nope, she's stuck. Alright. Just basting. Getting all those good flavors in there. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And this is the part, at this point, where we're going to leave the foil off. We've done enough with it on. Now we're just going to leave it off. So, just basting it like so. And at the end, when we cut that up, we'll pour the glaze over top of all the slices. But for now, we're going to let it finish doing its thing. And I'll be back in a bit. Alright, so right now what we got going on, you know there's always something going on in this kitchen. We have some fresh ginger, some julienne carrots, some garlic, some olive oil. We are now adding some green peppers. I'm just roughly cutting them or roughly chopping them, as you want to call it. Nothing too fancy here. I hope you guys are cooking some great stuff for Easter yourselves. Such a good time to show off colors in your food. I still got some deviled eggs to mix, speaking of colors. And me and my daughter still got a cake to decorate. Still got some lamb chops to deal with as well. But you know, we're getting there. That's later today. My pork ribs are just about finished. So I'm going to do that last step, the step that really fills the house with the best aromas in the world. And add barbecue sauce. Sometimes I make barbecue sauce. This week wasn't it. But it's still going to be really, really, really good. Yeah, today I just bought some Kraft barbecue sauce because I had so many other things on my plate to do. I'm making that homemade biscuit bread and doing all these meats, and so yeah, I elected to take the cheap route. But I did make my own glaze for my ham, so there's that. Alright. I want to wrap this bad boy. Let's pepper back up and put it back in the fridge. I still got Brussels sprouts and asparagus to steam. I mean, there's just still so much I gotta do. That the barbecue sauce not being homemade won't be a problem today. I'm sure the world will forgive me. We're just gonna toss this around a little. Just gonna toss that around. You might find you need a little more olive oil, like I just figured out. I desperately need to get some more. This is actually a sunflower and olive oil mix that I got at the Beaufort Farmers Market. It's a market here in Atlanta where a lot of chefs get really cool things to cook with. I love it there. Alright. I want to get a little freeze-dried basil in here. Just a little bit. Alright. We're going to add some browning once we put the chicken pieces themselves in. We're going to put a little bit of salt. Not too much, but enough. And we're going to open up our marinated chicken bag. We washed and marinated this chicken last night. And it looks beautiful. Just gonna mix this a little bit more, make sure it's well coated here. And make sure the bottom of it's like a bed for our chicken. If you want to think of it that way. And here we go. These are leg quarters. Alright. Also got these from the farmer's market in Beaufort. That looks like a lot of seasoning ran off of it. Not a problem though. But guess what? We still got the seasoning here in the bag. And put just a little, what's left of it in here. And with our chicken. Because it's the rest of the flavor. And then we're going to wash our hands really good. So we don't get salmonella. And so we don't give other people salmonella. And we're going to throw this bag away. It cannot be used for anything else after that. Because you had chicken in it. Wash my hands real quick. Alright. Hands washed. Add a little brown into this. It's just going to do its thing in here. We'll come back, and once we turn it over, this browning and everything should stick better. And that's about it for now. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, sorry, y'all were there for a while before I said anything, huh? So we're just going to turn this over. I'm sorry, let me get y'all in here. Just going to turn it over. Look at all that beautiful browning. Look at that. God, that's pretty. I wish y'all could smell it though. Damn how pretty it is. It's the smell for me, honey. It is the smell for me. I'm going to leave it uncovered this time because I want this to reduce. Because I want to be able to crisp the skin in a little while. But look at that. Just look at it. It's gorgeous. And it smells absolutely as gorgeous as it looks. Alright. So we'll be back in a bit. I'm probably going to let my ham cook about another hour or so. Then I'm going to come. And we're going to take that out of there. And get ready to get these potatoes au gratin in there. Cheesy potatoes au gratin, mind you. Alright, so I'll be back in a bit. So we are coming down through, I want to serve dinner around 5:30. So I'm pacing myself, taking breaks in between because I want to serve things pretty much fresh as they come out of the oven. But right now, we're going to start the fine, thin cut potatoes for our potatoes au gratin. I like to, I messed that up, not paying attention. I like to slice and then wash. And I like to leave the skin on mine. I think it makes them prettier for this. When I was younger, I used to take, to make them thicker, when I didn't quite understand how starches work, potatoes create their own starch. And I used to actually take flour and make a roux, if you will, to make, or a thickening agent, to make an already starchy starch starchier. I'm glad I know better now. These are going to be cheesy and buttery and full of chives. I'm just showing you this so you can see that you want to kind of try to get them as uniform as possible. Watch your finger. If you're using a knife that's really sharp like mine, it's really sharp. Watch your finger. I can't tell you how many injuries I have because of this very same knife. Okay? And that's pretty much what you're going to do throughout the whole process. And I'll be back to show you it once I've got it layered. I am going to incorporate some heavy cream, some butter, and some oil into the casserole dish. We're going to season it, of course, with some black truffle salt and some pepper. And we're going to layer it full of cheese, and we're going to use some freeze-dried chives also. And I'll decorate the top, and or garnish is the correct term. Garnish the top at the end with some fresh chives as our garnish. Alright, so I'll be back in a bit. So just want to show you the potatoes all layered before they go into the oven. About to grab my ham and my chicken and get those things out and then put this into the oven. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Had to come through and show y'all these ribs. Look at that. Look at them. Ooh-wee. I got one more meat to do. Gary, get to that shortly. Actually, I'm going to do them right real close to actual dinner serving time. That's the racks of lamb. They don't take long to cook. You don't want them tough. So just waiting on those. But look at that. Look at it. Yeah. Guys, here we have two of our meats done. We have that ham and that beautiful glaze that I made that we're going to smother our slices in. And then we have that brown stew chicken. These are leg quarters. Look at it. We have our lovely flowers for Easter. Yes, I used a wine glass as a vase. Sure did. All right, you ready to cover these up till dinner time. Got a few more things to cook. All right, y'all. So while I have the potatoes of rotten bacon, I'm seasoning up these lamb chopped lollipops, as I like to call them. They were already beautifully done like this at the Buford Farmers Market, but it's not hard to do that yourself. But luckily for me, this was already done, which saved me some time and some work today. And I greatly appreciate that because I got 1,000 things left to do. Just seasoning them with some salt, some lemon pepper, and in the mixture that we're going to make them in the pan, I'm going to use a little of the beef better than bouillon, and a little browning, and a little balsamic. We're also going to use just a little, very little cardamom powder, allspice, and coriander. The coriander more or less is going to be what seasons the oil that I cook it in. Coriander is used a lot in Indian and Persian cultures, and they are some of the people who cook a whole lot of lamb. So the reason my lamb is the color it is, some of them, was because they marinated last night. Not bad, not cooked yet, just from the marination though. The outer edges, the points that were on the end, turned color a little bit, but we're still all good. Just means them flavors are really gonna be in there. This meat was refrigerated, so trust me, it's fine. We're all good. Just the color change, like I said, from the marinade or marinade. Lemon pepper and just a little salt. On both sides. All right. I'm gonna cover these up so nothing disturbs them while we are waiting for these potatoes to get done. I'm also in the process of boiling my eggs for my deviled eggs. Be back in a bit. Alexa, pause. All right, so here we are. You probably can't see that very well, can you? Hopefully that's better. All right, so what I'm doing now, trying to get this the right angle for you guys without risking my phone. Gonna add just a little blackening to this oil. browning, not blackening, I'm sorry. It already had some freeze-dried basil, the oil itself. Move it back a little bit here. Let me adjust this, because I don't want the oil popping on this rather expensive phone. I would be very upset. Alright. Got the eggs boiling here next door for the deviled eggs. So, here we go. We got this one, alright? And we're just going to drop in some cardamom. We're going to stir this into this oil really good here. Okay. I'm going to put a little brown allspice in. Okay. And the last thing we're going to put in, just a slight dash of cardamom, not much at all. And the last thing I'm going to grab is my ground cumin. All these things are going to marry so well on this lamb. And basically what I'm doing is I am seasoning the oil. Normally I would use fresh garlic, but I'm out, so we're going to have to use garlic powder today. Apologize for that. That's not normally how I do things. Alright. Stir it around some. It's coming together nicely here. You want to make sure that it's really hot enough before you start putting the lamb in here. Alright. I want that to cook just a little longer. I'm going to go grab some lamb. Lamb is super delicate. Turn the heat down. We just want it up high to get it going. It's literally only going to need to cook a few minutes off the side. Not long at all. So be ready to get them out of it. Go grab my pan. Turn it immediately. Just getting a sear on it. Don't overcook this meat. This is a meat that should be served almost rare. This one's a little slippery. There we go. Again, this should be served almost rare. You do not want to overcook it at all. Alright. Just kind of wanted to show you what we're doing. And I'll be back in a bit. Alright guys, so here we are. We are finally about to start dropping these lovely eggplant discs into the oil. Get better prepared here. I was over there loading the squash and the Brussels sprouts onto the baking tray. And in a second, I'm going to have to remove, turn that down, so I'm going to have to remove my lamb chops from the oven. I just put them in to brown a little bit with their gravy. They had already been seared. See how I'm avoiding this damn pan? Come on. My grandmother used to have this screen that protected her from getting burnt when she cooked. I need to find one, honey, because this is no joke right here. So we're just putting those in like so. I did egg wash first and then Italian breadcrumb breading, okay? That's all there is to this. And I need to go real quick so that I can get my lamb chops out before they overcook. Be back in a few. Just showing you me and my daughter's work together on the cake. Now, if this don't scream Easter, I don't know what does. This looks like the bunny rabbit came over here and just threw up on our table. It's pretty though. It's so pretty. Look how it turned out. All right, you ready to get some pics now? We're gonna start here. Everything's finished. Those ribs. Look at that. Cover those back up. Next, we're over to this cake. Look how beautiful that is. We got it covered, so, you know, keep it fresh, nothing in it. But that's the cake. Get you underneath so you can see it close up. And now the spread, the actual spread. I'm gonna start from over here. Got that Caribbean style stewed chicken. Got that good ham and that good real made from scratch orange glaze. Got those lamb chops. Got your squash, your Brussels sprouts, and your steamed asparagus. Got that fried eggplant. Got those deviled eggs. The shrimp ceviche. And the baked potatoes au gratin full of cheese. And the only thing left is my bread, which we're waiting for. Let's go check on it. There is the bread. It is rising. You see where we made a cross out of rosemary in the middle. It's coming along. The very last piece of the pie, my cross bread. This is not a hot cross bun. This is a rosemary cross biscuit. A giant one. Enjoy. Happy Easter 2021.